Solving Multi-Step Equations, Part 2. In today's lesson, students will solve multi-step equations with variables on both sides of the equal sign. On what? Both sides of the equal sign. Let's read number 1 on your paper together. Ready? It's negative x minus 2 equals 4 minus 3x. How is this equation different from the equations we were solving yesterday? Anybody?
Miss Cotran, I know. There is x on this side of the equation and x on this side with equal in the middle.
Yes, that's right. And so when there is an equal sign, what do we normally draw through the equal sign? We draw a T-bone steak. That's right. So the T-bone steak is like a fence. It separates one side of the equation from the other. Okay? And it goes in the middle of the equal sign. So you have two terms that have the last name of x, right? Do you see something invisible in front of this x? Yes, it is the invisible one. So you have negative 1x and negative 3x, but these two terms are family members, yes? But they're on opposite sides of the fence. They need to be on one side. They need to be on what? One side. That's right. So how do you make two terms get together? What do? You combine like terms. Try that with me. Combine like terms. So we combine like terms the same way we did yesterday. The first step is that you underline the coefficient in front of the variable, right? So we look at the x terms. We have a negative 1x and a negative 3x, okay? The easiest way to think about this is which number is smaller. And when you're talking about negatives, this is kind of a tricky question because when you go negative to the left, you have negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3. So when it's far from 0, it's actually smaller. So which number is the smallest? Negative 3, right? So if you take the small number and you do the opposite of that term. So what's the opposite of negative 3x? Positive 3x. Let's add 3x to negative 3x, and let's also add it to negative 1x. Okay, so I added 3x to both sides, but I'm only adding it to the x because they have to match. Okay, then what I can do, finish the T-bone steak. Negative 3x and positive 3x make 0. And then we have to deal with positive 3x minus 1x. So go ahead and look. You have 3 minus 1. Well, that's easy. 3 minus 1 is 2. So you're left with 2 what? It's married to x. Then you can bring down the numbers. You have minus 2 equals 4. Did we combine like terms? Yes. We made two terms into one. Now we're going to combine the numbers, okay, the coefficients. So we're going to try and solve for x. So you circle 2x. And you already have a little bit of T-bone steak. So let's finish it. So really what you're doing is you're making two t's when you solve with variables on both sides. So what do you have to do to make these two terms one term? Well, we solve for x the way we normally do. What's the opposite of negative 2? Positive 2. That's right. Negative 2 and positive 2 make 0. Bring down the 2x. And now 2x equals, what's 4 plus 2? 4 plus 2 is 6. So now we need to solve for x. 2 is being married to x. But x wants to be a single lady. So what do? They have to get a divorce. So you divide by 2. That's right. And 6 divided by 2, how many times do you skip count by 2 to get to 6? 2, 4, 6. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and x is 3. Let's do another example with variables on both sides of the equation. So what's different about this equation is that you have 3x on this side, and you also have a family member on the other side of the fence. So I need you to first actually draw a T-bone steak to see that they're on both sides. Okay? When you have two terms and you want to make them one, they have the same last name, but you want to bring them together, what do? You have to combine like terms. What do, Marissa? Uh-huh. Combine like terms. That's right. So you underline the wait, is there an invisible number here? Yeah, it's invisible -1. So you want to underline the coefficient that is next to x. Okay, so underline these terms. Take a look at the number in front. We have a 3 and a -1. Again, ask yourself, what is smaller? Because whatever is smaller, you're going to end up adding to both sides. So what is smaller, a 3 or a -1? What's bigger, a positive or a negative? Well, if this one's bigger, 3, then this is smaller. So you want to add what? You want to add 1x to both sides, but you only add x where you see x. So if you're going to add 1x on this side, which term are you going to add it to, 3x or -9? You're going to add it to 3x. Okay, so you have -1x and +1x make 0. You have your T-bone right here. It's your first T. The first T, you're combining these terms. 3x and 1x make 4x. That's good. Then you bring down the numbers. You have -9 equals 15. All right. So now you combine like terms. You have 4x. All you have to do is make another T-bone steak to solve for 4x. So what are you looking for? You're looking for 4x. So what do you have to do to both sides now? What's the opposite of -9? +9. Add 9 to both sides. -9 and +9 make 0. Okay. Bring down 4x. And now, what is 15 plus 9? Well, let's look at the ones place. 9 plus 5. If you think about 10 plus 5, remember this from yesterday? If you think about 10 plus 5, 10 plus 5 is 15. Okay? But we're really talking about 9 plus 5. So if you subtract 1, that's 14. So 9 plus 5 is 14. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So this looks like the equation we did yesterday. 4x equals 12. If 4 and x are married and x wants to be a single lady because she wants to get rid of 4, what do you have to do? Divide both sides by 4. That's right. And what is 24 divided by 4? Let's count by 4 again. 4, 8, 12, 20. Is that right? No. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. There you go. So the answer is 6. So go ahead and write all that down. Make sure you have 2 T-bones. That's how these equations are different. So let's look at number 3 on your paper. This is our last example. Read the equation with me. It says -8 minus x equals -3x plus 6. First you ask yourself, is there an invisible number? Is there? Yes, it's right here. Whenever you see x by itself, you can put a 1. So you have a -1x on this side of the equal sign and -3x on the other side of the equal sign. And how do you know they're on 2 separate sides? Because that's what the T-bone steak tells you. They are on 2 sides. So when you have them on opposite sides, you need to make them on one side. And how do you do that? How do you make 2 variables into just one? You combine like terms. What do? Combine like terms. So when you try and figure out, well, which one do I choose to add to both sides, you have to pick the smaller number. You have to pick what? The smaller number. So you underline the coefficients, right, that are attached to x, that are married to x. You say, okay, -1 and -3. Which one is smaller? Well, 1 seems like it's a smaller number, but it's not. Because when it is negative, okay, the number that's bigger is actually smaller. I know that that's strange, but it's true, right? So the farther away it is from 0, the more negative a number is, the smaller that it gets. So you have -1 and -3. Which one is the farthest away from 0? -3, just like in our last example. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides, but I'm only going to add it to the x side. I'm not going to add it to the numbers. So negative 3x and positive 3x make, what do they make? 0. That's right. You have your first T-bone steak. Then you say, what is 3x minus 1x? Remember, 3x minus 1x is, what is it? I'm waiting. It's 2x. That's good. Then you're going to bring down the numbers. You have a negative 8. Then you have your equal sign. And you're going to bring down also 6. So your new equation is, this is positive 2x, negative 8 plus 2x equals 6. Do you all have that? Negative 8 plus 2x equals 6. Now you can solve for x because we only have one term with x. So you already have a t-bone. You have one t. Now we're going to make the second t, and we're going to solve for x. Look at the coefficient that is next to 2x. What is it? It's a negative 8. So what is the opposite of negative 8? Positive 8. Negative 8 and positive 8 make 0. Bring down 2x. And this time, 2x equals 8 plus 6. What is 8 plus 6? 8 plus 6. Okay, it's 14. What do you do now? What do you have to do? You divide by 2. That's right, divide by 2. So if you skip count by 2 to 14, you get 7. So x equals 7. Okay? So there's your introduction on how to solve equations with variables on both sides of the equal sign. I won't see you tomorrow, but you might see someone familiar. His name is Mr. Cotran. Well, I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you Friday. And you have a test on Friday. So behave.